friends, welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and I've got a set of kitchen knives for you today. These were sent to me by Shan. This is the Shan Pro set, and I want to present it to you. Now, just to be totally clear, they did send this to me at their cost. I am not earning any money from this review. Just got these things, and of course, when we made the agreement for me to review these, they said they wanted an honest review. There's nothing that they asked me to say except for to present to you, the product and the link to where you can buy it. Those links will be down below in the comments and in the video description, and I'll give you the prices and all that stuff later. I'm going to start off with an unboxing. So let's take a look at what comes in this set. Let's open it up. I've not opened it up yet before. I took the box out that took this out of the box that it was shipped in, and so we're going to see together for the first time what comes in the box. And there's just some packaging there, and there's a long box and a smaller box, and that's everything that's in here. Now, this is a 7-knife set, and the block that goes with it, and it's a solid wood block, well, laminated, a number of pieces of wood laminated together, but a solid piece of wood, and that's what this is right here. And shrink wrapped, and yeah, you can see on the bottom there that it's from a solid piece of wood, a couple of pieces of wood laminated together. And I'm gonna take that apart right now. Actually, I've got knives in here. That'll get me started. But I need to open this pack. So let's take a look what's in here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. To show them all off, let's just take them out. And this is the smaller knife, the paring knife. Now, these are Damascus steel, 67 layers of steel. The center layer is 10CR15 COMOV, which is the Chinese equivalent of VG10, or very close to VG10. Close enough that, I call it an equivalent as well. That's just the silicone gel. So there you go. That is the block. And Shanzhou 104 is what it says on there. And it's got all the holes for the blades to go in there. I didn't take a look and see what order these go in, what placement's the best order. But what we have is 7 pieces. Now, right now, they're selling it. You also get a sharpening set with it, some sharpening stones with this. And I think that's an $89 US value. So we've got a bread knife with bread serrations. Let's see, that fits there. Hopefully it goes there. And we've got Santoku style knife as well. Put that in the middle. And a proper or usual chef's knife style. Let's take the guards off of there. And we'll put that in there. And you've got a honing rod or honing steel that goes right there in the middle. And so there's the set. So let's bring this all to the tabletop for a closer view. Let's take a closer look at these. This is, they're calling it their fruit knife. You could also call it a paring knife. Might be a little big for a paring knife, but it's basically a paring knife. And before I get too far ahead of myself, here's a still picture of the different sizes and the dimensions. It looks like this is G10, and it feels like it's G10. I got to double check the spec sheet. I'll put the answer on the screen. But in the middle pin, they've got a logo etched in there on both sides, and then the pins go all the way through. But you can see it's a full tang construction and logo at the back again. Then you can see the Damascus here, and you can even feel that those are layers. That's not just etched on the top like a lot of junk knives do. These have a little bit more of a price point than the silly junk stuff does. And we've got their information on the blade right there. I'll give you a close-up of that so that you can see. This is their Diamond, or the Pro Series 67-layer Damascus steel Shanzu. How well is it sharpened? Well, it feels pretty sharp. I will show you some cut tests with these knives as well. And it's been properly sharpened and looks great. The utility knife is a longer utility knife. Otherwise, same thing again everywhere. Now these handles, there's a bit of a belly on the handle, and on the thickness of the handle across this way as well, it gets a little thicker right at the middle and comes back. So these are comfortable in hand, and they feel really, really nice. Let's check the balance point on here. And it's right at the end of the G10 and where the steel bolster begins. And I think they all are going to be balanced quite well. Let's see, there's the little guy right there. And bread knife, even the bread knife has got a good balance point right where it should be. And that's really, really nice. It's scalloped serrations, and I'll do some bread cutting tests with that. The Santoku has got relief cuts put right into the side there. The Damascus layers are responding properly to those divots, and they look really, really well done. Pretty thin at this edge. Like, this is a nice thin cutting edge, and it should cut very well. It's quite crispy at the edge. Crispy, it's sharp. That's what I'm trying to say. It's got a very well done edge right there. We'll put that down. And then, of course, the chef's knife. This is the big guy, the piece de resistance for the whole set, the one that you'll probably be using the most. Now, I would probably use this and the utility knife the most, just the way I tend to use the knives in the kitchen. But this is a good looking knife. And of course, this final piece. Personally, I am not a fan of sharpening rods or honing rods. Historically, these have been, used for a very long time. And my personal take on it is this is okay for really cheap steel, soft, weak steels, and it can help you do some maintenance on knives. I think most knife companies, they continue to sell these because people expect it. The problem with these is twofold. The modern steels just don't respond that well to it, and very few people I've ever met who've used these use it properly, and they actually end up doing more wear and tear on their knives than they certainly do helping of their knives. And so, of course, keep it because it looks great, but definitely learn how to sharpen your knives properly, and you can take care of this edge through sharpening and leather stropping, and that's all that you will need for your set of knives. Okay, so that's the beginning overview of this. I'm going to take these for a week or two and do a whole bunch of testing, and I'll show you what I found. I'm back. It's been 2 weeks. I've been using these. I've learned more stuff about these knives. And yeah, with the black gray background, the handles don't show up that well, but with a white background, the blades don't show up that well, especially the Damascus finish on them. And I can tell you a few things that I learned about these, but first, let me show you a little bit of the footage that I took of doing some cutting things. I didn't show you my actual meal prep because it's really hard to set up cameras and everything with enough room to actually do real meal prep. So I just showed some cutting of a few different things. And I found, mostly I use the chef knife. And the chef knife is actually quite good. It's a decent chef's knife. The thinness behind the edge is decent. It's a good knife. And yes, this is genuine 67 layers of Damascus, made the way that Damascus is supposed to be made. But the Santoku is even better. And when I go over the measurements, you'll see why, but mainly it's because this edge is even thinner. And then you've got these scallops put in here. You can see those underneath this when I hold it at this angle, which is really good for, fruit and veg to not stick to the blade very much. And so of all these knives, my favorite knife is the Santoku. The utility knife's pretty good. The paring knife, or they call it a fruit knife, it's okay. It's not bad. It's a decent knife. What else did I learn about these? I recorded this section last, but I'm showing it to you now because I've seen too much stuff online where so many knives with this kind of pattern steel, aka Damascus, is being called fake these days. And yeah, there is a lot of fake stuff out there, but if you look how fine the detail is, that's not fake. I had to go a step further and I got myself some muriatic acid and I dipped this tip in muriatic acid for a while. And with my nail, I can feel the layers now. Whereas here, because it's been polished and it's cleaned up for consumer use, you can't feel the layers, but you can definitely feel the layers there. You can see the color change, especially on this core steel. It's much lighter like everything else, like a nice polished stainless steel there. Here, I've done no polishing on this. I've just wiped it a little bit on a strop just to clean off the muriatic acid a bit. But the biggest evidence is right here on the spine. If I can get it to focus, and I got some close-up pictures of that as well. You can see those layers. You can certainly see the core steel is different. Yeah, don't believe everybody who shows a knife that has, something similar looking like this and says, hey, that's fake. The bread knife, if I didn't show you that video before, yeah, I cut a few buns on it. This is actually a decent bread knife. It's pretty standard, pretty decent. This is G10. I'm 100% sure of it, although they don't actually say that it's G10 or not. But yeah, decent. Let's go over the measurements that I took of these things. The bread knife, this thing, the cutting edge length is 203 millimeters. That's very, very close to 8 inches, almost exactly. The weight of this is 241 grams. That's about 8.5 ounces for this. The thickness behind the grind, like in the lowest point of those little, scallops there, the serrations, that is 0.56 millimeters or 22 thousandths of an inch thick, right near the edge there. The chef's knife, this is, looking at my list here, 204 millimeters of cutting edge, which is just around 8 1/16 of an inch. So basically the same as the chef's knife, just a bit over 8 inches. The weight is 246 grams, 8.7 ounces. The Santoku is almost identical. I'm going to move this so I don't keep banging it around, making noise. So these two are the same weight. The thickness behind the grind, just after the secondary grind or the sharpening grind, how thick is it right there? For the chef's knife, it's 0.38 millimeters or 15 thousandths of an inch thin, which is really good. That's not bad at all. And if I didn't say so yet, I do believe that the core steel is, the Chinese variant of VG10, 10CR15 COMOV, with decent steel. This thing, the cutting edge length from the tip to the heel of the blade, this is 172 millimeters, almost exactly 7 inches. The thickness behind the grind on this thing is 0.29 millimeters, 11.5 thousandths thin. That's why she slices so very, very well. And as you can see from the layering, it's a ways up before that first layer of the Damascus starts. So this thing's going to sharpen a number of times before it starts getting much thicker than that. Well, same thing with that one. Like, it's just decently done. I'm happy with that. The weight of this is, I already told you the weight because it's the same as a chef's knife. The utility knife, The cutting edge length is from the heel of the blade to the tip of the blade here. That is 152 millimeters. That's about 5 15/16. Let's just say it's tiny bit shy of 6 inches of cutting edge length, and not bad. That's not bad at all. The thickness behind the grind on this thing is 0.43 millimeters, or 17 thousandths of an inch. It weighs 137 grams. That's 4.85 ounces. That's not bad. These weights are pretty standard for these kinds of chef's knives. They're not in the lightest category, but they're not crazy heavy either. The fruit knife, or what I call a paring knife, this thing, the cutting edge, it's not sharpened right to the heel. It's about a quarter of an inch in, not quite a quarter of an inch, but maybe 3/16 of an inch in before the sharpening starts. And that sharpening length is 91 millimeters, 3 9/16, so just over 3.5 inches of cutting edge. The weight is 116 grams, 4.1 ounces, and the thickness behind the grind is 0.46 millimeters, which is 18 thousandths. Because it's not that thin, it takes a little bit more effort to cut through things than other knives do, but your hand is right near the edge, so you don't really notice that effort all that much. So there you go. What else did I learn about these? You can see it most clearly on, on any one of these knives actually. Here, let's grab this Santoku. This edge here shows a weld line. So this steel is not going all the way through. You can even see it here on the spine of the blade. You can see how nicely polished this is. And then right at that weld line, if you follow that weld line up, it changes and it's a duller gray or a silvery color. So this stainless steel, it's stainless steel welded on here. That's pretty standard in the industry. If you're using your knife the way you should use a knife, that's not going to be a problem. What else did I learn about these? They're a decent set of knives. I'll give you a link for them down below. You can go check that out. I'll put the link in the comment section and in the video description down below. And it's a fairly good set of knives. You got a decent block to go with it. There's their name in it. It's nice and weighty. The feet, they're got a little bit of softness to these feet, so it sits nicely on a table. And it's a decent looking block. And this, while I don't find this very useful, most people will not know how to use it properly. That's another thing. But people expect this, and so it's in this set. So that's what I think of these. You decide if you want to buy a set or not, but if you do, use that link down below, and that'll make it easy for you to find them and get the knives that you want. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.